welcome to another episode of Connect by Vanity. I am Taynika, your gracious host. Today is Saturday, March 4th of 2023. February done came and passed, so we are in March, and this year is already speeding past. So hopefully everyone is well and everybody is blessed. Thank you again to my subscribers, whoever subscribed this week. I can't really see, but thank you again for subscribing to my channel, and I'm glad you guys are here as usual. So like I said, I was gonna have a guest today, and I do have a guest today. So don't forget, last week my guest didn't come for the Black History talks, and I didn't tell y'all the topic that I was gonna have this week because I told y'all that I wanted to wait. So I'm still gonna let y'all wait about the topic, but anyway, I like to introduce my guest, which is my daughter, Janae, aka Butter, and we're going to talk about an interesting topic, but I'm going to let her come in and we're going to talk about it together. Okay, so here comes Butter. Come on, Butter. How are you, Butter?
How is everyone?
Thank you for joining Connect today.
No
What's
problem.
going on? So this is Janae Baker, my daughter. She's gonna tell us a little bit about herself today.
Hi everyone. I'm 29 years old. I currently work for New York City Parks Department. I am a mom of a 6-year-old.
Yeah. So you work at the Parks Department,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
good. So you did just get a promotion from a
Mhm.
pot worker
Yeah.
to
A permanent city worker now.
a permanent
Yeah.
city worker. So, you could go far through that parks program, through the
Yeah.
HRA program.
Yeah, I started off as seasonal and then, they made me permanent through the parks.
Right.
So that's a blessing
right. So
in our world.
I like that program because regardless of what we went through, like the program, the Parks Department is good for hiring people who might have past incarceration or past charges, such as you,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So
Felons.
that's what we want to talk about. And the topic that I wanted to talk about was just gang life, because like I told y'all, like I was part of a girls gang when I was in high school, and we did a lot of fighting. We didn't really do a lot of killing and shooting like these gangs, like out in Cali, the Bloods, the Crips, and we was just like a girls gang. We did a lot of arguing, fighting, pulling hair. Like it wasn't like it is now where we're losing a lot of youth to the gangs. And then now, like, I guess we was young too, but it seems like now the gangs are getting the gang members are getting younger and younger. It's like 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds joining gangs now. So I don't know how much Janae wants to talk about her life, but we know that you was formerly incarcerated, right?
Mhm.
So
I was also in a gang too.
okay.
Yeah.
So you was in a gang,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So how did that work out for you? The gang life.
It really didn't do me no justice,
Yeah.
So, but that's not how I was thinking about it back then,
Right. Yeah.
So back then I actually liked to be in a gang. Like I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Now I think it was no sense of being in a gang.
Right.
Because it's like I didn't get nothing out of it.
Right. You said you thought it was cool. Do you think like your peers influence? Like, do you think the youth peers have a lot to do with them joining the gang because they have so much pressure from their friends out?
For me, it wasn't like that. It wasn't my peers. It was like something I wanted to do personally. Like I liked the color red, and I was throwing up, bees a lot. So it was like I wanted to be in a gang. It wasn't because my friends was in a gang or nothing.
Okay. Because that was a
Because
question.
most of my friends wasn't really in gangs back then, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you wanted to be in a gang.
Yeah.
So what would you say to the youth who want to be in gangs now? Because was it you said you wanted to be in a gang and you was in a gang.
Mm-hmm.
How was your experience of being in a gang?
My experience was okay, but I can't really say that because I lost a lot of friends during the gang life, and I went to jail behind.
You lost a lot of friends who was in the gang, or like
was in the
friends who
gang.
wasn't in the
Who
gang?
was like in the same gang. I lost a lot of friends, you know, a lot of gang members.
Right, right.
I lost a lot of gang members, and yeah, it got me in trouble
because y'all stopped being friends.
Yeah, like lost them to shootouts and stuff like that. They got murdered.
Really?
Yeah, so it wasn't worth it, and it got me in trouble. I did on my first bed.
Right.
For doing gang stuff.
Right.
So, yeah.
So I didn't really know that you lost a lot of friends from the gang life, but we still have a problem with gangs. And then now, like the crossfire, like in Brooklyn in November of 22 was a 3-year-old girl shot, of course, gang fire. So like my thing is with criminal justice is not to just like not to just be like, oh, this righteous person with like, oh, you can't be in gangs. And like I said, I feel like I asked you, like a lot of people don't want to tell people they was in gangs. So I applaud you for even coming on here saying that, because a lot of people don't want to say that they was in gangs. I was surprised that you said that a lot of y'all stopped being friends and you lost a lot of friends. Was it ever because it was like friendship, or you lost a lot of friends just because they got murdered? Or was it ever like some beef and shit?
It was just always like with my I didn't mean to say friends, actually gang members, with my fellow gang members.
Yeah.
I lost all of them to gun violence.
Oh wow. Yeah,
it was a few that I lost to cancer, stuff like that, but most of them died from gun violence.
Gun violence. Yeah. See, that's what very important for our youth to hear things like this from people who have been through gang. You've also been on Rikers Island, right? And we had a whole topic about Rikers Island and what they're doing to suppress reoccurring gang behavior. But you did a good job, and because you've been out now for like 5
Yeah, it's about to make
years.
6 years. I've been out for
5 years. So you did a good job. So is there anything like you would, what do you tell youth? Because like in Cali, the Crips and the Bloods, sometimes an organization, a gang don't have to be necessarily youth going out killing each other. Some of the gang members like feed the community. They do good things for the community. So just because you're a gang member or a gang leader don't necessarily mean that you have to have guns and shoot people. You could also be a good gang, right? Because I heard about like some gangs in California, and they teach their members how to invest or whatever. Like, is it such thing you could be a good gang, or it has to be a violent? A good leader creates other leaders, right?
Yeah, because like the definition of gang is like
violence.
So I guess no, because being a part of a gang is like you have to do some type of violence, Right. So it's like, I mean, we have great leaders,
right?
That don't do so much violence,
Yeah.
So,
but you have to do some kind of violence.
I mean, to join the gang,
be a gang, being a gang, a gang member. Otherwise,
right.
So that's why we're trying to like actively talk to the youth and try to see, what's in their head, like, because you don't hear nobody talking to people who've been in Rikers, or the people, like I said last episode, they don't want to talk about their experiences in jail, and they don't want to talk about their experiences, even though they did time. You did time for your experience, so we talked about that, like, so you don't mind sharing, and I think that's the whole goal of the podcast, is to share these experiences. So maybe a youth will see you, like, you went from incarceration, then you had a felony, it was hard for you to get a job, then you went through the HRA, got in the pop program, the parks, and they take all your dispositions, and then now you done moved up, so that's a shining, a prime example of how you can go from gang life.
One thing I could say is like the felony wasn't worth it, and it's like it's hard to stay out of trouble, you know? Once you join a gang or go to Rikers Island, it's hard to stay out of trouble. So it's like linked up. Being in a gang, you might be dead or in jail.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why one of the things is not worth it, because it's hard to stay out of trouble.
You saying now, even after you, like...
No, not now, but
right.
Before it was tempted to stay out of trouble. Like,
well, it's hard to stay out of trouble. Yeah, because if you're in a gang, that's trouble right there. Like, you have to do some trouble. Otherwise, like, your gang members probably be like, oh, she's soft.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just interesting. Is there anything that you experienced? Like, you only did 4 months on Rikers. I know, like, that must have been a terrible experience, especially the things that's going on in Rikers that we hear now, like the way they sleeping on floors. Was it like that in there, crowded? Would you say that you was living in inhumane conditions in Rikers? That's just one question I want to ask.
Yeah. Inhumane as in?
Like, on the floor, like you sleep in one toilet, you no beds, you're cold, your food. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Like, we slept on one mat, you know, so a lot of inmates was able to get lawsuits from that. Because
one mat together?
It's like a flat mat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's not comfortable. And we wasn't allowed to use multiple mats, you know?
To sleep on?
Yeah.
So you had to sleep on the mat together?
No, we had to sleep on just one flat mat, but it's like used. So a lot of people done been to Rikers Island and used the same mat we're using. So it's like flattened out.
Yeah.
Where we can't feel no cushion.
Also, but each individual had their own mat.
Yeah, we had our own mats.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's just good to talk about gangs and incarceration. This is just for information. It's not really trying to incriminate nobody at Rikers Island. I just want to say that. It's not to. It's just to get information out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had one little final question because, like my podcast, they don't be very long. I'm not sure how long we've been recording. I just like the conversation. Is there anything that you want to say? And then is there anything that you would give advice to a youth? Like,
yeah, never catch a felony. I know that. That's not worth it. Like, I didn't even know how serious it was back then. I really, I kind of didn't care. But now I see, as I'm growing up and I need things, I see how serious having a felony is. Like, I got denied from a lot of things with having a felony. And it stopped me from being able to do some of the things that I wanted to do.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So, that's it. Is there anything else you would like to talk about?
Never join a gang because it's not worth it. Now that I have a son now, I wouldn't want him to be in a gang, you know.
Right. My lovely grandson. He's so smart, like, and like I said, like, if any of the youth, like, I know a lot of people know Butter and my other children, you know, I'm not sure if they watch this podcast, but like I said, if you ever want to reach out, just because I went to school for criminal justice doesn't mean I'm here to incriminate nobody. Criminal justice is justice for criminals. So, you know, speaking out is one way, like I said, that could help. You know, hopefully the story of Janae's Butter can help. Butter. It ain't butter.
Yeah,
it's butter. Right. Hopefully this story of hers can help some youth. I've never had a felony. Like I said, I've been on central booking, but I've never had a felony. I've never experienced Rikers Island like Janae have. I've never been in a gang where all my gang members died. Thank God the people I was in the gang with, the girls, you know, they're still living. Like, you know, I do know a lot of men who died. Yeah. But they wasn't even in a gang. Back in my days, it was like drugs. They were selling drugs. They died from that. But now everybody's dying from gang violence. And honestly, I think the young men need to just get money. To me, I would rather them sell drugs. If you had to pick a poison.
And another thing, I'm sorry. Okay. Another thing I would say to youth is stop killing each other. And as like a 13-year-old, 14-year-old coming up in the gang, like I remember when I first started the gang, we didn't really use guns at first. We was like, you know, fighting and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
We didn't pick up guns until we was older. most of my members and stuff like that. So
Right.
I feel like I wouldn't recommend joining the gang, but it's
I mean,
the
like,
youth
people gonna have
starting off
disagreements.
as-
Like, have a fight. Like, don't kill your brother or your sister. Like, and then we definitely have to do something about our government allowing a 12 or 13 or 14-year-old to get access to a gun.
Yeah.
So it's not totally
And it's
the
not,
youth fault. Like, it just seems like the media and everybody points out black youth for this gun violence, but we never really address how the guns are getting here. How would a 12, 13, 14-year-old get a gun? And half of these children who's getting guns, they don't even have money to buy the guns. So I don't understand how they're getting these guns in their hands. It's almost like somebody's putting them in their hands.
Right.
You know?
And another thing is the big homies shouldn't be enforcing, the youth to be killing other youth, or other people, period,
Right. Right.
And especially innocent bystanders, or civilians as we would call it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be killing the civilians and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna be in a gang, keep it all the way in the gang life.
No, don't be in no gang. That's
Yeah,
what
don't
I'm
be in
saying.
the gang.
It's we're trying to get them out of gangs because we know the end result is they're dying or they're going to jail. We're losing our children to not just gun violence. They go to prison, they come home, they go to prison again, they come home. Like, they're just, it's a vicious cycle if you don't stop it. Like, you have a family. Some of these youth have families, like, like people who care about them, and hopefully somebody's like me. I stayed on her ass, like, whether they like it or not. Like, I stayed on my kids' ass so they could be better. Like, I didn't want them too far in the dumps. You have to allow children or your youth to make mistakes, because my children are not children no more. So now they are responsible for their own mistakes. But when they was growing up, you have to let them make their own mistakes. But at the same time, if you see them going down the wrong path, you really got to step up and do that parenting. You cannot let your kids go out here and be in a gang and know that. And know there and be okay with it. Like, I never was okay with it. Even if I said it, I knew it or I didn't. I never was okay with my daughter being in the gang. And I definitely never was okay with her being incarcerated, because, like she said, it really did affect her life. And then not only does it affect gang life, affect you, it affects your whole entire family. You know? So
and then I wasted a lot of time.
Yeah,
a lot of time. The things I'm doing now, I could have been doing, but it was just like the gang life was important to me back then.
Yeah.
And I kind of put that like first.
Yeah. But it's okay. So, because you're still young and you still have another chance. Like, we are both, we went through different things in life, but we're both witnesses of second chances, second, third, fourth. We're both living testimonies of that. So we're definitely testimonies of that. So I really thank you for joining me today, Janae. I appreciate you being my first guest on Connect by Vanity. It was a pleasure talking to you about a little bit about your life. I thank you for being so real about your life, and hopefully we will talk about, I have another topic in mind that I'm not going to tell you or you guys that me and Janae could talk about, and we'll talk about that next time. So hopefully, like I always say, hopefully my words will reach you guys' heads, minds, and hearts, and our words will make a change for the better for everybody, the youth, everybody, black, white, all kind of youth who's joining gangs, who's joining terrorist organizations. Hopefully we can save our youth. So thank you for joining me, guys. God bless you. I hope everybody is well. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And again, God bless you, and thank you for tuning in.